From the Ear to There Travel Studio, this is the Ear to There Disney Podcast.
The Ear to There Podcast, it's time to start the show. Be sure to hold on tight, here we go. Exploring all the different Disney destinations. Ear to There, it's time to start the fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ear to There Disney Podcast. I'm your host, Phil Roundup. I am also the owner and founder of Ear to There Travel, which is a Disney-specialized travel agency. It is my mission in life to take away all of that stress, all of that anxiety, and all of that time that it takes to plan a Disney trip so you can focus on the really fun things like having a great time with your family and friends and enjoying the magic. And as I say each and every week, I do all of that stuff, all of my services, at absolutely no extra charge to you. So from getting you the best possible price on your vacation package or your resort hotel room, to dining reservations, fast passes, magic bands, special event tickets, transportation, everything you could think of, I do all of that for no charge. Yes, I do it for free. I don't charge a fee. That rhymed. I'm a poet, and I don't even know it. Just think of me as the Mr. Miyagi to your Daniel LaRusso. I'm going to help you navigate. I'm going to help you plan everything. I might even get you into the All Valley Karate Tournament. But one thing I will not do, I refuse to do, is take on the Cobra Kai by myself. I mean, I don't know karate in real life. You can find this podcast, my blog, or request a free, yes, free, no obligation quote over at eartotheretravel.com. This is episode number 114 for the week of March 12th, 2018. Now, grab a drink, grab a snack, and as a famous mouse once said, on with the show. And of course, like we do each and every week, before we get into the main topic of the show, it is time for the What About Bob segment. That's where retired Disney Imagineer and Disney legend Bob Gurr comes on the show to answer your questions. Well, sometimes they're my questions, but mostly they are your questions. I say sometimes they're mine because sometimes it's just follow-ups, or sometimes, like in the case this week, I'll get an anonymous message from my website. You can send me a message over there. You don't have to sign your name or your email address. But someone sent me a picture and I wanted to ask Bob about it this week. So if you don't know who Bob Gurr is, Bob worked alongside Walt Disney himself, and he designed such things. Now I'm sounding like Troy McClure. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from... That's actually not a terrible impression. But Bob worked for Walt, and he designed things like the Omnimover system, both monorails in Disneyland and Walt Disney World, the submarines, the Autopia, the Main Street vehicles, all kinds of things. If you have a question for Bob that you want him to answer right here on the show, please just call the voice line. That phone number is 267-551-1971. Or you could always email that question to me at phil@eartotheretravel.com. Now, as always, the Ask Bob segment is brought to you by the Waltland Bus Tour. Each and every month, Bob Gurr takes a bunch of lucky guests around Burbank, around Los Angeles, and around Glendale, California. And the bus makes stops at all the important landmarks in the history of the Disney company and in the life of Walt Disney himself. If you would like to go, if you want to buy tickets, just head over to www.waltland.com. All right, so without further ado, this week I'm actually going to sing the theme song instead of playing. No, I'm not. I was going to say instead of playing it for you. I'm not. Here is Bob's song, followed by the one, the only Bob Gurr.
It's What About Bob?
All right, so this one is a true-false question since we're talking about the vehicles. Was it true that there was supposed to be a Greyhound bus on the Autopia in Disneyland?
Yes, there was. True story. And in fact, it was just before opening. Walt came to me one day and he said, "Say, besides having a couple of the cars as a police car, why don't we make a little miniature Greyhound bus for the little itty bitty kids? We can have a driver drive it, and the little kids can sit inside it, and it would be in scale with the Autopia car." I went far enough in the engineering of it and the basic overall design and style of it. And if you ever go on the internet and you look at some early pictures where I'm working at my drafting board with a steering wheel in my hand, on the wall in front of me is a drawing of that little bus. And instead of having a Greyhound dog on the side of the bus, it has a Chihuahua.
That's great.
Oh, no, excuse me. It doesn't have a Chihuahua. It has a, what's the name of the little German wiener dog? What's that?
Dachshund.
Dachshund. Yes, this is a Dachshund bus.
Nice.
And those drawings are still today in the one of the engineering the buildings over in Glendale at WDI. A few months ago, I was over there and I saw them. They're still in there.
Wow, you did that? You said in the early '60s, or was it
No. Before Disneyland opened.
Oh wow, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Yeah, wow, that's.
It was an idea Walt had, but we went just far enough to see that would never be practical. But I did make a side view picture of it. Quite a few people have noticed it.
That one is awesome. And could you imagine a Greyhound bus driving around the Autopia track or maybe the Tomorrowland Speedway track in Magic Kingdom? That would be really cool and probably a little dangerous as well. So thank you again to Bob for answering yet another question on the show. It is just the coolest thing to talk to Bob every week. I am so lucky, and I hope you're really enjoying his segment of the show. As far as I know, this is the only podcast that has a Disney legend on each and every week. Hey, not only a Disney legend, Bob is the Disney legend. So, come on, that's pretty cool. Again, if you want to get any question to Bob, the phone number is 267-551-1971. Okay, now it is time to get moving to the episode. Here we go, episode number 114. Disney's Boardwalk Inn is an astounding resort hotel. There is honestly so much to do and so much to see at this resort that it was really hard for me to narrow down my list this week. We've done a couple of these resort roundups in the past. They've been really fun shows. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from each and every one of them. And I'm hoping, but I'm confident, that this one will just be more of the same. I am so excited to get this episode underway. This is a resort roundup for Disney's Boardwalk Inn. Here to talk all about Disney's Boardwalk Inn with me is a guy who still thinks Ample Hills Creamery is a pretty weird name for an ice cream shop. Johnny Shortsleeve, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's a weird name, that's for sure. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to hate on the product, man. They know how to lay it down over there. It's pretty good stuff. That's probably one of the best ice cream spots in Walt Disney World, man. Would you agree?
I haven't had it since it's been there.
What?
I know. You know what it is? I'm not a huge ice cream guy. I don't eat a lot of desserts. I'm much more of a, you know me, man. If we're out at dinner, you and I have been at enough dinners together. If I'm going to get everybody else at the table gets a dessert, I order my dessert beer. Like any kind of stout or something with like peanut butter or something like that. That's, as a matter of fact, I went to dinner last night with my family and I got a Victory at Sea peanut butter beer for dessert. They all had like Reese's peanut butter cakes and all that stuff, and I had a little tiny chalice with beer in it. Not like chalice, like
chalice. What?
Yeah, not chalice like on the Lord.
Don the magic wand, the guy who hangs out with Snoop with the chalice always has the chalice.
Lil Jon, hey, what? Remember that guy?
What? Okay.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Yes, I have my blinged out chalice that I take to restaurants and I make them fill it with peanut butter beer for me. That's a weird start to the show. So thanks again, man, for being on. I'm excited about this topic. We haven't done a resort roundup in a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but I think it's high time, and I like the topic, man. Thanks for letting me come out and chat with you about it.
Of course, man. You are the second host of the show, even though you're not on every episode. You are on once a week, though, which is super exciting for not just for me, but for I've heard a lot of positive things so far about the It's a Food World shows. So remember every Wednesday. So those are fun. Those are a lot of fun to do.
I know, cool, man. I'm already drooling just thinking about it. We haven't even talked about food or the show, but you just mentioned the show.
Yeah.
There goes the drooling.
It could have been the Ample Hills as well.
Oh, that's what it was. Darn it.
It's my fault for starting off the show like that. So, all right. So I think we were just talking about before we hit the record button that usually we kind of go back and forth on what things we like about Boardwalk. And as I was looking at at Boardwalk, as I was coming in with my list, there's just something different about Disney's Boardwalk. It's and the Boardwalk Villas as well. It's not just another resort, right? It's truly one of the top resorts on Disney property, I think, because there's just like so much. I don't know why I am slurring my way through these. I haven't had I talked
dessert
about
beer you had tonight.
I talked about a beer, and I haven't had a beer since last night. But there's so much to do at that resort. It has so much to offer. Like I said, I was getting my list together, and I couldn't believe how much there was and how much there is at that resort. It's crazy.
Well, that's a really good point, because when I was trying to think of, I had my little 3x3 Post-it note out here,
Of course.
and I was trying to see what I can write down, and I was struggling to try to see if I can narrow it down, because I really did come up with a lot of things that I was thinking about. Like if I had a friend or somebody say, hey, what do you think about this place? I could go on for a while about a lot of things that I think would be in the positive, like the pros column of why you should stay there, or even if you don't want to stay, just to go hang out and check it out. I mean, there's a lot to go on there. Yeah,
I totally agree. And it's not, when you say the pros, you're right. But if you start trying to think about negatives, listen, we try to be honest. We're not being paid by Disney. We're just big Disney fans. You can find negative things about almost every place. Almost every resort, that is. There aren't a ton of negatives about this place. So that's why I was excited to do this one. And I'm actually kind of surprised this wasn't like the first one we did. But listen, there's so many great resorts on property that it's kind of hard to you can't really hit them all in one shot. Anyway, let's start off with you, if that's cool. You want to do your first one, and we'll kind of get the ball rolling?
Yeah, man, definitely. And I have to start by saying what I always say when we do these resort roundups is, if I have my list on my 3x3 Post-it note that has the things that came to mind that I thought would be good for our conversation today. If I don't have something on there that you have or anyone else who's listening would have on their list, I hope everyone doesn't think that I'm a jerk for not saying that, because there is so much to choose from. So I try to just keep it tight here. The first one I think is the obvious one, for me at least, and if I'm talking about Boardwalk, is it's location, location, location.
Dude, that is literally, I have that bolded on my list. Location, location, location.
That's
my first
one.
Oh.
Hold the phone.
Okay.
Hold the phone.
Okay, good.
But I bet you yours doesn't look like mine, because I have all three locations spelled different, like Tony, Tony, Tony. The third one has a number 7 in there. I don't know how that got in there.
Dude, I completely was caught off guard by your Tony, Tony, Tony reference. Well done. What did they sing? What song did they sing now?
Oh, come on now. Gosh, put me on the spot.
It feels good. It feels good. Yeah,
That was Tony,
is that
Tony,
them?
Tony.
I think I gotta look
Oh,
it up now.
I thought
You
that was
start
Belle
talking.
Biv DeVoe.
Was that Belle Biv DeVoe? Oh
No,
man,
you might be right. Maybe. Oh, geez. Here's what I got it. I got it. Hold. Here it is. Here's what I want you to do. Hey, have the first listener who is able to tell you what their number one hit was, to send you an email, because you have the timestamp on the emails. It makes it official. Give them like $100 off the service pack. With all the. Oh shoot! Shameless plug later. Sorry, shameless
yeah, we'll
plug
talk
later.
about that. We'll talk about
Later.
the
Later.
deal
That's
later.
at the end. Sorry.
Yes, I'm not going to look it up though. Somebody let me know what Tony's saying. I want to know. All right,
Yeah.
man. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, there we go. Back on track. Here's why I think the location is really impressive in terms of what you have to choose from with all the Walt Disney World resorts. Is it's within walking, or depending on how great of a day or night you had, staggering distance from not only from Epcot in specific with World Showcase, but also with Disney's Hollywood Studios as well. So I know that they're the friendship boats that you can take there, which are a lot of fun. They're cool. There's a novelty aspect to the friendship boats, not in addition to just transportation. They're fun to ride on. But I think the key is, like, especially like if you're somebody who comes to Walt Disney World like in the fall, like one of my favorite times of the year, like especially for Food and Wine Festival. That's really cool to just be able to say, you know what, I'm going to cruise World Showcase, do Food and Wine Festival, and I can walk right back to my hotel. That's a lot. That's a really big plus, especially because Epcot now is basically like the theme park of festivals. As we got, Food and Wine is the big daddy of them all. Flower and Garden's going on right now in the spring. Festival of the Holidays and Christmas time, which is a lot of fun, and they've really done a lot of new things. At least last year they did a lot of new things. And then Festival of the Arts, which is they just had the second year of that. They're only missing the summertime. Like they need to figure out what to do in the summertime because now no festival that they're doing. But that's a really cool thing. And especially now when you think about with Disney's Hollywood Studios, when you have Toy Story Land opening up in a few months here in summer of 2018, and then we're going to have Galaxy's Edge opening up sometime in the near future. I think that's neat to be able to just have such easy access to both theme parks right there from your resort hotel. And again, no disrespect to other hotels at Walt Disney World that are not so centrally located or so conveniently located to the theme parks, but that definitely does play into a huge aspect of the experience where you're right there in the middle of everything that's going on with those two theme parks, and you could just quickly get yourself right back to your home base and rest. So, like, for example, why is that important? Well, obviously, like I said earlier, with like Food and Wine Festival, you can stagger easily over to your hotel after you've been bending your elbow all night long around World Showcase. But also, like, if you're traveling with kids, if you kids, if you're taking them on around through Epcot or Disney's Hollywood Studios in the morning and do some lunch over there, it's really nice to be able to just quickly get back to your hotel for a nap or at least some time at the pool and not have it to be this big adventure to trek. If you're staying at the Super 8 on 192, no disrespect, but that's a little bit of a hike to go down there once you've been hanging out in the parks. Whereas the Boardwalk, you're right there. You don't have to do the whole trek and yeah. It's one thing to do the drive down there, but then once you got those, 7-leg giraffes that are roaming around the parks, I mean, that's a hard thing. You got to go through there because that's a wild adventure down at that place.
It is. Yeah. I haven't heard this 7-leg giraffe, but I'm sure that's a
infestation over there.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
A difficult thing to navigate around.
Health department shut them down for 12 hours yesterday for that.
For the giraffes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're carriers,
Well, I don't know anything about that, but I have to agree with you. I again,
call yourself lucky.
This is going to be a long episode. I have to agree with you completely. That was, even though I didn't spell them differently, that was the top one on my list. I love that place simply for everything's within walking distance. You didn't even mention a couple of the resorts that are in walking distance, like Yacht and Beach Club and the Swan and Dolphin, and then the Fantasia Gardens golf course is right there. You can walk to all of those from Boardwalk, which is really, really cool. And it's just a great spot. It really is centrally located. My wife and kids and I, we usually will always walk to, unless it's, unless you get a really super hot day in the afternoon, you don't really want to do that walk from Hollywood Studios back to the resort. But really, your other option is a bus or the Friendship Boat. And the Friendship Boat it takes a while. You can almost walk faster than that. So yeah, we usually, if we can help it, we'll make that walk. But dude, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more. That's the perfect first one. Perfect.
And sorry I snagged it, man.
No, dude. Listen, I want to steal something from you later. I'm sure.
I'm sure we'll, because I think we this one I have a feeling is going to be one of the unusual ones for us, where I have a feeling we're going to be snagging each other's items off the list. Yeah,
we're gonna be. I think we're gonna be simpatico on this one.
Cool, man.
So, all right. So I'm looking at my list. I have a lot. I wrote down a lot of things. So I'm going to go with this. All right. Since we were mentioning staggering back to the resort at night, this is going to be one of my little fun little spots over at Boardwalk, and it's Boardwalk Joe's marvelous margarita stand. I am a beer guy. It's not. I don't make any kind of bones about it on the show. I love craft beer. I'm not. I try wine and stuff sometimes. I'm just not like, I'll drink wine. I like it. I'll drink a mixed drink here and there, but I really like beer, and I really like frozen margaritas. Like the frozen margaritas at Boardwalk Joe's, that's my scene right there. Because sometimes it gets hot in Walt Disney World. Like, well, most of the time it's hot, right? I mean, you live there, you've had some days in the 80s. I think this winter, I mean, it's been hot for you guys. So I can remember a trip in September where we stayed at Boardwalk a couple of years ago. It was one of those weeks where it was all sun, no clouds, like 90 plus degrees every single day. And our kids would fade like mid-afternoon. They'd been out since the morning. They were beat. It was hot, and you know how the kids get when they're out in the sun all day. The sweat and the sunscreen starts running, and they're just cooked. So they would want to go back around 1, 2 o'clock. They want to go back to the hotel, either sit in the air conditioning in the room, recharge, get a snack, or go swimming in the pool at Boardwalk. So we would be walking on that walk from Epcot or from Hollywood Studios back to the room. And in the middle of the afternoon, man, no shade. That's one thing about Boardwalk. There's no shade in sight over there. And I would see the margarita stand off in the distance, and it'd be like a mirage. Like those cartoons when somebody would see like the water, like the water hole out in like the distance, and it would get there and it would eat it or drink it. And it would be like sand in their mouth. But for me, I would see that margarita stand, and I would at the end, I'd be limping there with like my blistered face from the sun. But dude, there's something about getting that frozen. They have a frozen Grand Margarita with Jose Cuervo Gold Tequila. I get it frozen with the salt, and it makes those last like 100 or a couple hundred feet back to my room feel like ice cold heaven. Like I want to sit. I want to get in the cup like a hot tub full of that margarita and just sit there and cool off. So for me, I love that stand. It usually is when it's super hot out. I'll go there, or maybe once in a while I'll sneak out of the room while Amy is giving the kids a bath or something. I'll run over to the margarita stand. She'll come back. I'll be sitting in the hotel room with my margarita. That's been known to happen once or twice, but I really like that place. So that's my first pick.
That's an interesting pick. It's definitely not on my list, but it's funny when you were talking about how you love craft beer. It made me think of like craft macaroni and cheese. Like, yes. Like what if Kraft made a beer? How would that be? But
it's the cheesiest.
It's the foamiest.
Be an interesting beer for sure.
Yeah, beer in a box. So No, that's a really good pick because I know a lot of people, like a lot of my friends who like to hang out at Boardwalk because, oh gosh, I hope I'm not saying this. This is not on my list and I hope it's not on yours, but it kind of ties in what I wanted to say about it is I know a lot of my friends, like the locals here, they think of Boardwalk kind of like how many guests think of Disney Springs as a spot to go hang out and just kind of relax and grab a couple drinks.
Yeah.
And that's the one of the spots that they like to go is the margarita stand. So the reason I was saying that is because it's definitely something that I think has a little bit of a following in terms of people who know that, hey, it's a good value and it's a good product. So I know value is not always something that you think about when you're thinking about a Walt Disney World Resort vacation, but definitely if you can find opportunities like that, it is neat to be able to see that they have a good product and it's a reasonable price for it. And it's refreshing and it's good.
They have it's like a full drink menu over there too. It's not just margaritas. I mean, you can get soda or water. You can get, they have a couple non-alcoholic, like specialty drinks. Then I think they have like an iced tea cocktail, and they serve beer there, so you can get all kinds of stuff. But I think they even serve like there's a food. I forget. There's some kind of food there that they sell as well. Like I don't know if it's a churro, something like that. But it's a neat little place to go. And like I said, man, when it's 100 degrees and you see it off in the distance, I feel like Wile E. Coyote, like kind of dragging myself there and like through the sand to get to it. But it's a cool place. But you're right.
How's their Everclear collection there? They have a decent selection.
They do, yeah. I mean, you gotta ask. They have to, they have that in the back of the stand.
Oh, good, yeah. And get in the red Solo cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you can't tip. It's a weird thing. They make your drink, but you can't tip those. They're not technically bartenders. They're outdoor food workers. So I always try to tip the poor people, the cast members that work down there. Like, no, we can't take tips. When I worked at Disney, I don't know if this is still a thing. You had to have you heard this? Where they have to refuse a tip 3 times, and then after the third refusal, they can take it.
I've never heard that before. So, like, if you're walking up and buying like a T-shirt at a merchandise location, you can offer a cast member a tip.
When I worked, and I didn't work in a typical spot. I worked in at Star Tours, and I worked in custodial, and I worked front desk. In front desk people will try to tip you, to get a better room, but you really can't. You can't do that. You're not supposed to do that anyway. I don't know if cast members did, but yeah, I think technically you're not. Like, there are tippable positions, of course, like the bell services is tippable, servers, bartenders, stuff like that. But the non-tippable positions, I remember very clearly a manager telling me, you need to refuse 3 times. But it's like Austin Powers when with Will Ferrell's character, when he couldn't stand to hear the same question 3 times. So after the 3rd time, he would just answer honestly. Like Austin Powers was like, "Where's Dr. Evil hiding?" And he's like, "I'll never tell you." He's like, "Where's Dr. Evil hiding?" I spit at that question. "Where's Dr. Evil hiding?" And he goes, "He's in an underground lair." He's like, "I just can't." He has like an accent. He's like, "I can't stand to be asked the same question 3 times. It's just annoying." It's hilarious. Anyway, sorry, man. It's another. I think people enjoy the tangents, but I go on a lot of them. So, what do you got for your next one?
Okay, good question. Now, this is going to sound crazy, but
I know, because my list is all screwy. Because now I'm like, I don't know where to go next. But go ahead.
Well, this is interesting. So now my first one was location. But despite that great location, my second idea that I have on the 3x3 is that it's actually a very serene resort. So, yeah, I mean, the front area of the resort, the front, I'm talking about like the area on the actual boardwalk itself that faces, what's the name of that lake right there?
I believe it's Lake Boardwalk. No, I'm kidding.
It's not. You just I had to think about it. I said, no, there's a real name for it. That's not right.
No, I don't know. Crescent Lake. Crescent Lake.
Crescent Lake. That's what it is. So like the
Sorry.
side that faces Crescent Lake is obviously very busy in most times of the day and the evening. But on the opposite side of the property, there's all these little like alcoves and courtyards. And it's amazing how if you're on that other side, it's really quiet. Now and then forget about the side that's on the parking lot and like where the convention center is.
Right.
But there's some interior alcoves of the property right there that like nice little benches and areas where you can sit down and relax or just take a nice little walk. Like some nice gardens back through there. It's really peaceful. And to me, it's kind of shocking because you think about, well, the location is so central to so much that's going on with shopping and restaurants and the other hotels and then Epcot, Hollywood Studios. And then even on the property itself with the pools and the tennis courts, there's a lot of stuff and it's a big property with a lot of guests. But you can remove yourself from all of that craziness and that activity and that buzz in a lot of different spots on the resort. So to me, if you're someone who, while you may enjoy the activity and the bustle of the theme parks and everything that's going on the property, you might need to decompress. And it's nice that you have some options other than just kind of holding yourself up in the room to be able to still go outside and enjoy the nice weather. And, you know, as you described it, like the sunshine all day, every day in September and when it's burning hot, there's some nice shaded areas back there where you can hang out and relax. Because even in the shade, it's nice to get a nice little breeze going. So it gives that nice contrast, which is really kind of impressive to me how it works that way, where you can still have that buzz and that amazing location being central to everything, but also still have those nice little areas to retreat where you can have some quiet and peace.
Dude, it's a great pick. Great choice. And as soon as you were saying it, I started thinking of those stairs that lead from the front of the resort down to the boardwalk area. And there's something about that little section that I really like. Like it really it transports you a little bit to, you know, what is it supposed to be? Like the 30s? I think the 30s. Is about the time period. And you're right, it's so different than, especially at night, like the back, I guess it's the back of the resort, even though it kind of feels like the front of the resort, where the boardwalk is. But that's so like happening, and there's so much going on and entertainment and other things that we're going to get to. And you're right, the other side of it is very quiet and it feels like a deluxe resort, right? It doesn't feel as much like a party all the time, which isn't a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I like the party kind of feeling. But that's a unique pick, man. I didn't think you were going to go there. I like that.
Nice. And speaking of the stairway, how many people do you think have tripped and fallen down a stairway and they've had a bunch of drinks?
It's got to be a huge number.
Yeah, and that's a steep set of stairs, too.
It is. And I always get nervous with my kids when we're there. I'm like, hold on to the railing. Like, it's like, oh my God. Because, my daughter with her glasses, she doesn't, when she looks underneath the lenses when she walks, sometimes when she's going downstairs, and she can't see. So it's
never mind your daughter with the glasses. We're about the dad with the craft beer in his belly.
Yeah. Luckily for me, I'm not one. I'm not the one that'll do it with my, like, of course I'll have a couple beers with my kids around, but I'm not the dad that'll go, out, all night on a boardwalk going from place to place and then try to walk somewhere with the kids. That's not really my scene.
You're not rolling with the beer helmet?
Not anymore. That was more, mid 30s.
Here's the merchandise thing. Like, I know Disney listens. We have some reason to believe that Disney listens because of some things we're seeing happening. I got an idea. Merchandise, quick tangent. Polynesian, you're missing out on a great opportunity here. The Lapu Lapu helmet.
Sweet. With the two pineapples.
Yeah. And have it themed, of course. Have it to be like grass covered, just like it could be themed to look like the former mound that was there. It's kind of, the bungalows got rid of that mound. Yeah. They now have a little bit of a mound right there where people used to get married all the time. Have it look like that with some palm trees on the top, but the Lapu Lapus on the side, holstered up there. 2 straws coming down.
That's pretty sweet. You imagine a weight of that though? It'd have to be like one of those halos that they drill into your forehead. It would be too heavy. They have to get the. They'd be like, okay. They'd be like, all right, Johnny, do you really want this? Okay. It's like drill them right into your sides of your head. Hold it there.
Saying, yeah. So there you go, Disney. Feel free to take it. I've got no use for that idea, but I'd like to see it brought forward to the guests.
I hear you, man. That would be an interesting thing. I don't know how strong those Lapu Lapus are, but I would assume. I think they're pretty strong. I think there's a bunch of different alcohol, mixers in there.
And you can get this for breakfast now.
Unbelievable, isn't it? What a great country we live in. You can have a breakfast drink bar at what is that lounge called? The Tampa Lounge.
I know, man. I feel like just saluting a bald eagle when I hear something like that going on.
Breaking out my American flag button-down shirt, my bandana.
Dude, I was at Epcot today. There was a bald eagle on top of Spaceship Earth.
Oh,
I stopped and
awesome.
saluted. And I was thinking, man, if that eagle dumps it out on that Aluka bond, it's just going to roll right off. Just like self-cleaning,
Yeah, it ends up in the lagoon. It all goes up in the lagoon. It'll be all right. All right. This is a strange. I knew this was going to be a weird show right from the start.
What's the topic again?
Right. It's an American flags and Lapu Lapus. All right. So my next one is going to be one that actually shouldn't be any surprise to anyone who listens to the show because they know I'm obsessed with resort lobbies, and it's the lobby of Boardwalk. I love the lobby there. Everything about it is cool. I love when you check in over the check-in desks, they have do you ever notice the 3 castles over in the paintings over the desks? They have Cinderella Castle, Sleeping Beauty Castle, and then Sleeping Beauty Castle from Disneyland Paris are the 3 paintings over the check-in desk.
I don't know if I've ever noticed those.
Yeah, so that's pretty I
I've stayed there, and I know I've checked in before, but I don't remember if I remember what the paintings were.
Yeah, there's these huge gold frame, like really ornate gold frame, like over the 3 of the check-in desks. The thing is, you probably wouldn't even notice them. There's just so much. There's so much going on, and the giant when you walk in, that giant chandelier with the carousel horses, and it's amazing. There's so much to see in there. Some of my favorites, like I said, the paintings over the check-in desk. They have the Lucy the elephant, which is a replica of the elephant from Cape May, New Jersey, which is kind of from my neck of the woods. It was like a tourist attraction back in the 30s and 40s. Then one thing they have that creeps the heck out of my kids. Have you ever seen the chairs next to the fireplace in the lobby?
They look like little girls, right?
Yeah.
What are those things?
They're called nanny chairs.
Oh, that's what it is.
And they were actually designed for adults to sit on a carousel while the kids like rode the horses, so you could sit and ride with them. But they have them on opposite ends of the fireplace in the lobby. They're like from the 19th century. These nanny chairs. They're creepy as heck looking. Like my kids are terrified of them still, and they're 7 and 5 now. So we're actually going to be there in a couple of weeks for staying there. So I can't wait to see what they think about this trip. It's really, really funny.
And are those original or are those reproductions?
They're reproductions. Yeah. I would imagine originals would probably be worth a pretty penny, and they wouldn't let knuckleheads like us sit on them. Like, the person, like you said, the guy with the Lapu Lapu helmet coming back, sitting on that chair and falling asleep. Maybe it's in trouble, man, with that. But then there's my 2 favorite things in the whole lobby, right? So the one is the little miniature roller coaster. I know you know what I'm talking about. I always think it should be moving. It doesn't move. It's a miniature of what the heck is it called? Flip Flat Railway was a roller coaster from Coney Island in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. And it was one of the first looping roller coasters ever built. And dude, get this. It pulled so many G's that people were getting injured on it. And it was only open for like a couple of weeks. Like I guess the drop into that loop and the loop itself, you could like, it was like injuring people badly when they rode it. So what did Disney do? They put a replica of it in the lobby. I think it's kind of cool. And go ahead, man. I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
They put it there because they're tired of people complaining about Mission Space being too intense.
Yeah, right. People are coming in from after being at Epcot all day. And like, you could have ridden this thing. You could have broke your neck. Yeah. You could have been around in the late 1800s. But my favorite part of the lobby is the miniature carousel. And it works. I forget what year. Okay. So I'm going to get super nerdy and I'm sure you know the story about this carousel, but I'm going to be super nerdy and tell about it. So, it was built, I don't know the guy's name. I would have to do a little more research, but it was built by this guy who was a carousel salesman in the early 1900s. And they used to build these mock-ups, these little miniature carousels, and take them around to parks to try to sell them. So they had these working models, right? So this model of this carousel was forgotten in somebody's attic in like New Jersey for decades. And it was found and they brought it out. Disney found out about it, bought it, restored it, and it actually works. It sits in a lobby. It's the actual one from the early 1900s. And every once in a while, I forget how often it runs, but it will spin around. It goes around. The horses go up and down, and it plays Disney music, like carouselized. I think that's a word. Like carousel music versions of Disney songs as it spins around. I think that's super cool, and it's my favorite thing. It's my favorite part of that lobby. And there is a horse on that miniature carousel that has hidden Mickeys on it. That is the coolest thing. So just the amazing attention to detail in that lobby blows me away every time. So I love it. When we stay there, when I sit there with my family, we like, if I get up early or the kids get up early and we don't want to wake up the other kids, we always walk out to the lobby. I get my cup of coffee and we just hang around, look at the models and sit in the chairs. And I love that place. I really do.
Maybe you've touched on a really interesting business idea here with this carouselized version of Disney music. You know how there's now this market for lullaby versions of popular music?
Dude, I had that years ago when Amy was pregnant with our first. It's like years ago, yeah.
The Metallica one's great.
I had the Metallica one and the Billy Joel one. Billy Joel was my favorite one. I love that one.
But do like a carouselized version of these. Can you imagine like a carouselized version of like Enter Sandman or Back in Black or Stairway to Heaven?
That would be awesome. Yeah. Like, because I can think of it because I'm hearing right now in my head Once Upon a Dream from the King Arthur carousel in Disneyland. The reason I'm thinking about that is because I was listening to the album all day today. For some reason, it was just I had the Disneyland park album on in my house all day. So yeah, I think that'd be really, really cool. Maybe that's something there's a little side business for you, man.
So working on that. Get the old xylophone out. Get
synthesizer,
fire up the Wurlitzer. The keytar.
I know you have a keytar.
Man, I tell you, that's a good time. You want your kids to learn musical instruments, right? But most kids will be taught, piano or violin. The keytar. They're going to have to compete for first chair keytar at school.
You have to grow a mullet and a bad mustache if you're going to play the guitar. That's how it was in the 80s, man.
Oh man, that's a good time right there. The keytar.
All right, man. So,
fun fact. You know where you can find a keytar at Walt Disney World?
Now I got to think. Sunny Eclipse.
Oh no, he has a regular piano. Wait, does he play a keytar?
I don't think so.
He has like a regular keyboard.
Yeah, he's got like the keyboard. Yeah.
No, over at Morocco. Like at least I was over there at least a few weeks ago walking around World Showcase, and they had the band at Morocco. The guy had a keytar.
Wow.
I had to stop and look. I had to do a double take. I said, whoa, hold on a second. The guy's got a keytar.
Like, what 80s band were you in that? What's that? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. God, I couldn't get it out fast enough. I was going to say, excuse me, sir, were you in Dire Straits?
Were you in Flock of Seagulls, sir?
He's forgotten Seagull.
Yeah, he's still, he hasn't stopped believing, man. He's still there.
He couldn't get his hair to do that like everybody else. Only the other guys could. All right, man. Sorry.
Times.
I think it's your turn. Right? Or was that? Yeah, it was you.
All right. So you know what, man? I'm really hesitating to throw this one out there, but it segues really well to what you were just talking about. Like it segues beautifully into what you're just talking about. But I hate the idea of me sounding like, I hope people don't think I'm sounding like I'm phoning this one in, but it's the Bellevue Lounge. And it's a reason why you might say that I'm phoning it is because we've already done a review of Bellevue Lounge. We did that live review a while back.
That was episode 54. That was a fun show.
Are you serious? Do you remember that just off the top of your head?
Yeah.
What the heck, man?
I have a weird memory.
Impressive.
About that stuff.
Holy smokes.
You know why? Because I always think of Studio 54 with that show. Because it was like...
Or Car 54?
Where are you?
Yeah. There's a Studio 54?
Yeah, that was in New York back in the day. Studio 54.
Wait, that's the nightclub?
Yeah, that was the Happening nightclub.
That was the name? It was Studio 54?
Yeah, my mom went there when she was a kid. Yeah. My mom went to Studio 54 when she was underage, actually.
What, did she see Rick James there?
I think so. Yeah.
And Charlie Murphy?
I don't know, man.
But she also hang out at the China Club.
Now you're confused.
Wait, you don't know that show? I don't know Chappelle show. Oh man, I was ripping off a really good reference there, but I know that the show that I'm referencing you've never seen. I don't want to say it on here because you keep it.
No, it's Chappelle show, right?
Yeah, you know the reference?
No, I don't know the reference. I know. People get so mad at me when I say I never watched Chappelle show. I don't know what I was doing. I know it was like a cultural phenomenon. Like everybody in the world knows that show except for me. I just don't know it. And I like Dave Chappelle a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that was the name of the club, and they definitely, that was referenced in there with Rick James and Charlie Murphy, and then there's also a reference to the China Club too. All right, where are we at? Bellevue Lounge? So it segues really well from what you just said because it is attached to the lobby. But the thing I like about it, and you didn't mention this on your lobby discussion, which I think I'm glad because it allows me to say it because I'm #selfish. They have this really cool soundtrack that they play in the lobby, and it's also played in the lounge at Bellevue Lounge. It's kind of like the 20s and 30s jazz, kind of really cool vibe sounding music. And that plays into the theming of the lounge as well, which is, consistent with the theming of the lobby as well in that time period. But to me, it's this neat hidden gem of lounges at Walt Disney World where there are some lounges that are really high notoriety, like Top of the World for the DVC members at Bay Lake Tower, or Tambu Lounge. We're talking about that with the Lapu Lapu helmet. Come on, Disney, make it happen. Territory Lounge, Wilderness Lodge.
That's a great one.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool lounges, but this one isn't talked about a lot. I don't know why, but there's a good, solid, really nice, comfortable place to hang out, and the decor is really cool because they have the radios that are on the wall, like on the shelves, playing radio shows from that period. I think maybe part of it is everyone wants to go to Abracadabra right now, even though it's not new anymore. It's still kind of new and novel. So they kind of sleep on the Bellevue Lounge. It's really cool. It's really relaxing. So it's not super crowded right now. But what's funny is I was looking at the menu, their lounge menu when I was writing up the 3x3. And they had the list of beers on there, and they listed Budweiser, Bud Light, or Michelob Ultra, and they wrote St. Louis, Missouri, because they have like the listing of every other beer, like Goose Island is from Chicago, Illinois, Stella Artois from Belgium, but they can't just put Budweiser, they got to put St. Louis, Missouri, and Coors Light, Golden, Colorado, like.
Like that, like that's not said on every single commercial ever from the. You know what's funny is after every single commercial for that, it's like Budweiser, St. Louis, Missouri, Coors Light Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Like
well, it's not like it's even brewed there. I mean, that's just where the corporate headquarters is.
Yeah, now it's who knows? They have breweries all over the place.
Yeah, but I understand because it looks weird when you have like Sierra Nevada on there. We got Chico, California, and you don't have St. Louis, Missouri on there. But whatever.
Missouri?
So,
you mean Missouri?
Missouri. Yeah, go to Branson, Missouri. They do a lot of commercials for Branson. Have you noticed that?
I've heard what's going on with Branson, Missouri, man.
It's getting a resurgence. I mean, what's going on is Disney World hiked the price of tickets, so everyone's like, Branson's going, ooh, we can see there's some market share we can take. So yeah, Branson, Missouri. Shout out to Branson, Missouri. How you guys doing over there? Hashtag Riverboat Gambling.
You know I'm going to hear from somebody from Branson this week too. I'll get an email.
It's someone from the Branson Tourism Consortium.
Thank you. Here's your $2 check.
Come on over and get a free prime rib lunch on us. So anyway, yeah, that Bellevue Lounge is a really cool spot because it's not one of those ones that's really high on the radar for everyone. So it's not super hard to get into and wait. Of course, I say that, and somebody's going to show up on like July 4th, and it's going to be just jam packed. But for the most part, normal evening, it's really nice and laid back, and the drink selection's good. So not only beer and wine, you have some cool kind of themed cocktails in there as well. So I like it. That's definitely one that if I have friends that come in town or just want to hang out, that's one of the ones that's usually top of my list, like right up to like top 3 lounges I want to go hang out at. So it's nice, especially if you're staying at the Boardwalk, because you don't have to worry about catching a goober or staggering your way over to your hotel or wherever you're staying. You're right there on property if you want to go out and have a good time in a lounge. So that's definitely one that I think is a key thing for a Boardwalk.
Dude, I love that place. When we did that episode, I remember it was like dead when we got there. It was like me, you, and like a couple other people. And then it was the night before, what was it? The Disney Half Marathon. And they canceled it because of the bad. Oh, no. That was the day of the Disney Half. And then I think the next day was the full. Maybe I'm wrong.
And I think you're right.
So then all of a sudden it filled up. And the podcast, it starts out, it's like me and you, and you can hear the music in the background. And then as it goes on, you hear the music and you still hear me and you, but you hear all these people and their conversations in the background. It was a fun episode. It was a really cool one. And like you said, it's a fun place to go. They have good beer selection, good drink selection. And yeah, get one of those tables near the radio. It's really neat to listen to that music and sit back. And yeah, I like that place a lot. And like you said, it's not crowded. It won't be crowded like Abracadabra is right now or any of the other places that we may or may not mention. Excuse me, on this episode. So good pick, man. I like it.
Cool, man.
And that was fun. I was going to say we should do it. We should record another one when I'm down in a couple weeks, but we can't record there again. We'll have to find somewhere else. If you have a night away, we'll have to record an episode somewhere. Maybe another lounge that I could get to, or we could do it at the Poly, because I'm staying at the Polynesian after the cruise. So we could do. I mean, there's always time for a Trader Sam's episode. We haven't done that yet.
Oh yeah, an inside Trader Sam's, not the patio.
No. Maybe me and you sit at the old bar, sit at one of the bar tables, turn a recorder on, and just sit and talk, and that'll be a lot of fun.
I set myself up on one of the stools, and then the bartender's looking at me weird, saying, "Why is a massive man sinking on the stool? He's not sitting on one of the sinking stools. He broke the stool."
Don't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody the trick. That stool trick. That happens. Of course, that happens to me every time I'm in there, and I have to go like pray to the God across the bar. That's always fun. For some reason, people pick me out. I guess I'm a gullible. All right. So let me look at my list. Let's see. Yeah, I want to go with this one. Okay. So I'm not big on these. I'm not a big pool guy. I'm one of the guys that goes to the pool with his kids because he has to. So I'm not much of a swimmer. But my kids love the pool here and the pools actually. And I think any kids would love it as long as you don't mind the horrifying looking clown face that you slide out of on the Keister Coaster slide. You'll have a great time at the pool. You've seen the clown, right? You've been there, you stayed there, you've seen the clown at the Luna Park pool.
I've never swam in that pool, but when I stayed there, I checked it out, and it's one of those things where you've seen pictures of it, and pictures don't do it justice.
It's terrifying. It really is. It's this creepy looking clown head. The slide looks like a roller coaster. I mean, the whole setup there kind of is made to look like a roller coaster at Luna Park at Coney Island, and yeah, it's just it's a creepy looking. It's a fun slide. I mean, it's a fun water slide. The kids get to do it is run up and down the steps the whole time through the water slide. Of course, it's safe. There's lifeguards and all. But yeah, it's a creepy thing. It's a creepy looking. I don't know why Disney decided that's what you're going to put in that pool, but I mean, whatever. It's a fun pool. There are actually 3 pools at the resort. But the Luna Park one is the big attraction there. There's also a quiet pool that, it's for adults without kids. I don't know if you've noticed yet by the way I talk or the way I carry myself. I'm not the one that they wanted the quiet pool. Even my quiet voice isn't quiet. Like, I'm the one that when I'm home, I get texts. Like when I'm recording a podcast, I get text, even though I'm in a soundproof room, I get texts from my wife from upstairs being like, "You're being a little loud." Like, quiet it down. So I get animated and excited, man. There's nothing I can do about it. But so I don't get invited to the quiet pool. They kick me out of there. But there's also a pool bar over there. Now, I'm a fan of that. It's called Leaping Horse Libations. It's a nod to the famous Atlantic City diving horse, which, by the way, do you remember that movie was Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken? About the girl and the diving horse in Atlantic City in like the 20s. Did you ever see that one?
Was Schwarzenegger in that movie?
Come on, man. You saw it, right?
Let me see. Hold on. Who was in that movie?
I don't know. It's one of those young actresses from the 80s. It's a girl you would recognize. She did like 20 80s movies. I forget her name.
Like Molly Ringwald?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. But yeah, it's name any 80s actress.
Not Molly Ringworm.
It was Ali Sheedy. It wasn't. But I think it was in the early 90s that movie came out. But anyway, that's a true story. Those poor girls used to go up on that plank with the poor horse and drop into a pool like, I don't know, 400 feet below. It was crazy. And that girl got blinded on a darn horse, and she kept doing it. It's a true story. It's nuts. But anyway, it's named after, the bar is named after the famous diving horse in Atlantic City. So yeah, it's a really, the pools are great. Your kids will love them. They do, they do games with the lifeguards, and they have activities at the pools, lots of days, and there's music. And if they like to swim, it's a really or if you like to swim, it's a really well themed, really fun pool. Except for the quiet pool again, because no kids can go, and I can't go either. But yeah, the pools, man, they're fun for, like I said, I'm not much of a swimmer, but they're really fun for the kids.
The one time that I did stay there, Grandma was with us, and she got kicked out of the quiet pool. She brought her boombox down there, and she was listening to Motorhead, which is, I don't know where she got a Motorhead cassette tape from and where she even had the boombox from, but so I have bad memories in the quiet pool. So I always like the Luna Park one.
That makes sense. I mean, that seems like something she would do.
She's a mess, man. This embarrasses me sometimes.
We got to get her. I'm telling you, we got to get her on the podcast one of these times.
We just got to record earlier in the day because she can't. It's 10:30 at night right now. She can't do that, man. She's already asleep.
Asleep from just going to sleep, or asleep from other
passing out.
I was going to say other recreational activities that she might be doing.
She doesn't just lay down for sleep. I mean, usually what's going on, it's a couple of hits of Thunderbird and she's done.
I can't wait to talk to her. All right, man. So, all right. So from the pools, where are you going next? What number is this for you, by the way? Is this 4?
Yeah, this is my fourth one. This one's an interesting one. I think it's neat because it shows that there are some unique offerings at Boardwalk that may not be available at actually many of the other. Well, no, that's not fair to say that. That's not true. But the way that they're done at Boardwalk is definitely quite different. And I'm speaking about the live entertainment aspect.
Yeah, man. That was on my list too. But like again,
Are you serious?
No, my list is big. I still have a few
Oh,
more. So.
darn it.
Well,
Well, sorry
I
about
couldn't. No. I couldn't agree with you more. I love the entertainment over there. But go ahead.
And it's neat because, and I said that initially, like there's not, but there is a lot of live entertainment offerings at the other hotels at Walt Disney World. But this is different because it does stay within the theming very well, like the other live entertainment does at the other hotels as well. But some jugglers, some musicians, and some not acrobatics like trapeze, but there's this one performer that does some really crazy stuff. I don't want to give a lot away, but just like balancing act kind of stuff, and
like the ball bouncing and all that.
Yeah,
that guy's awesome.
Yeah, and he gets the guests involved too, which is because you usually have the kids help him like toss some things, and there's some neat offerings there. And I don't know what the schedule is. I'm sure if you ask like the front desk, they could tell you. But I don't know that it's published. If it is published, I've never seen it. Where if it's it's only certain nights a week, or if it's only certain times of the night. But I definitely know that it is a nighttime kind of thing that you'll see, whether it be like actually on that promenade, like the boardwalk itself. If the weather's bad, I've even seen some of them perform inside the hotel, like near the Bellevue Lounge. Just obviously not the crazy ones that require a lot of space, but. So it's neat that there's an impromptu offering of entertainment, and I'm a huge advocate of finding time to enjoy those things when you're at Walt Disney World. Well, yeah, I see value in having like a regimented or structured schedule because there's so many things that you'd like to do. You want to make sure that you kind of stay on task. Unlike the conversations that you and I have that go on a million tangents. But I like that if you are at Walt Disney World with your family, with your friends, or even by yourself, that if you take the time to stop and enjoy something that you just see kind of out of the blue that you weren't expecting, that really does enhance the experience that you're having, in my opinion, because it allows you to really just stop and soak in something that you weren't expecting, and it changes. It's like a pattern interrupt of sorts. Where look at me, look at that, throwing out these big psychological terms. Yeah, it's pattern interrupt. How about that?
It's impressive, man. And like you said, it's after 10:30 at night as we're recording that. That's impressive stuff.
When you start the day by reading Urban Dictionary, I mean, a lot of stuff sinks in.
You're on a roll after that. I just reminded myself of Johnny of the old Johnny Carson when he's like, that's good stuff. That's good. I can't do a Carson, but I can't do. I try to do some imitations. I can't do Carson at all. That was bad. But anyway, man, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you didn't interrupt. It's something that I think not only should be something as a takeaway for Boardwalk, but hopefully it's at least planting a seed with anyone who's hearing this. That should be something that should be a key aspect of what you're expecting from Walt Disney World as a whole for the theme parks and the resorts and I almost called it downtown Disney Springs, where if you find yourself in a position where you see something that is something that you're not expecting, something that wasn't on your schedule or on your to-do list, don't be afraid to stop and pause and enjoy that, because savoring those kind of impromptu experiences can really help to enhance the experience that you're having in Walt Disney World. So I think that's why it's cool at Boardwalk, because they do have those opportunities.
That's a great point, man. And you're right. They have that they have it at Hollywood Studios. They have it at Epcot. They have it at a lot of resorts. They have some of the, once in a while you'll see the, I forget the name of the band that plays at Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom, or they have like the Fantasyland, like the people who were in the garb that do the whole princess thing, the show. They walk up to you and they talk to you about how to be a princess and lots of stuff like that you don't expect or you're not. I love that they have that stuff going on. Like you said, like, I don't know, are the Vikings still over in Norway?
Oh, yeah, man.
Like
I love those dudes.
Stuff like that you're not necessarily expecting, but absolutely stop and watch. I love the magicians and the jugglers and they, the other guys over at Boardwalk. I remember when we were there last year or something like that. The trips all run into each other for me, but we were walking through and my oldest daughter saw, there was the magician who was kind of standing by himself, like waiting for people to come up to him. And, my family were the first ones. We walked up to him and he started doing card tricks for us. And then as we stood there, he drew a crowd and he let our oldest do I don't know if you've seen this trick where he'll have, like one red ball and he puts that red ball in her hand and he closes her hand. And then he says, we'll say like the magic words or she will, and she opens her hand and like 20 red balls come out. It's a really cool trick. It's fun. And I don't know, I'm sure it's like it's a quick sleight of hand thing that we didn't see. Sorry, I'm like ruining magic tricks now on the show, but it was really, really neat because he recognized that we were the first ones there and he let her be such a big part of the show. And then as we were walking away, he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Hey, listen, thank you so much for coming over. I was standing here for 10 minutes and nobody was coming up to me." And he said, "And you guys came up and he drew a crowd and thank you." And I was like, "Nah, like we love that stuff like that. I love just kind of happening upon stuff like that. It's really, really neat." So yeah, I totally agree. I love the entertainment there. They also do, and I don't know if this is on this. I hope it's not. The movies on the lawn there, they do that at a lot of resorts, but that's really fun too. You get to sit in the grass with the family, go get a snack from somewhere, sit and watch a movie for free. I know when we were there with my family, we watched one of the Muppets Most Wanted or something a couple of years ago. So yeah, it's a great pick, man. I really love the magicians and the jugglers, and they have plate spinners over there. The one night we were there, just cool stuff. I love the entertainment. Anyway, live entertainment anywhere in Walt Disney World is cool. Like you always mention the Citizens of Hollywood. I love those guys, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And they're just such talented people doing that. And again, it's not, like you said, it's not on a guide map. There's no times guide really. Like you can figure it out if you kind of know the parks well enough, but it's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. I have a few more on my list, but I'm gonna go with this one. Of course, it's me. We have to talk about it, and it is the Big River Grill. Is one of the restaurants that we frequent all the time when we're there. Again, I'm a big craft beer fan, big craft beer guy, and it's a brewery. So how could I not like it? They have seasonal beers. They have a few beers that are there all year round. They have a Rocket Red Ale, which is my favorite beer that they do, and I get that almost every time I'm there. The food's really good. They have big TVs. If you're gonna you want to go sit and watch a playoff game, sit at the bar. It's just a fun place to go. The kids menu's good there. My kids love it. They will go in and they all get their craft beers. No, I'm kidding. I don't give my kids craft beers, but I will give them like the lemonade and they they'll get the kids meal and they get the coloring pages and the crayons, and it's a cool place. I really like the food there. I like the drinks. The one thing I will say, and I say this all the time when I mention this place, is they don't have French fries. I don't know why, but if you get a burger, it's chips, and the chips are good. They're good, but they're not fries, and it always confuses me. I always forget about it. And I get there, and we have our appetizer, and I have my Rocket Red Ale, and we're having a good time, and we're telling stories, my wife and I. Maybe you guys are with us. Maybe I have another friend there. And then it comes time to order my burger, or they have a really good, I think it's a mahi sandwich, which I get like a blackened mahi sandwich. And I look, and I'm like, can I get chips or fries instead of the chips? And they say, "Oh no, sir, we don't have French fries." And I'm always like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why don't you have French fries?
Is it like the soup Nazi?
Like where they will? What? If I'm not asking, maybe I'm not asking correctly.
No soup for you.
Yeah, you come back 1 year. So it's a great place. I love the beer there. I really do. And they have that. I love places to do this. I know Via Napoli does it and Raglan Road does it as well. I love the beer flight, and they have that there. So, you get little, I don't know, 4 ounces, 4-ounce beers of each, and you get like 4 or 5 different. So you can try all the different draft beers that they have there, and they're all brewed on premises. So it's a cool place, man. I think it's a fun one. It's a fun one to go see a game, fun one to go. Just they have like lots of different cool appetizers, and there's like a jalapeno cheese dip that I really like. So yeah, it's a good place.
Nicely done. I specifically stayed away from that one because I knew that was going to be on your list, and I'm glad because I'm glad you brought it up, because I think that really is an interesting one to throw out there for folks. Because there's a lot of people like you out there who are really into the art of beer making and or enjoy good quality beer. And it's good to know there's spots like that around at Walt Disney World where you can have a really decent selection of things that are kind of unique that are be good for you to try and have something memorable in terms of an experience on vacation.
Yeah, man. A few years ago, Disney did this thing where now a lot of the locations that are themed to a certain thing, like say Port Orleans Riverside is themed to New Orleans and Louisiana, and so the beers that they have on tap and some of the ones they have in bottles are the local beers of Louisiana. And they do that in a lot of different places. Of course, Epcot has it in the World Showcase, but like some of the resorts and the different restaurants theme the beers to the theming of the place. Like I know it's a newer thing, but Liberty Tree Tavern has the American beers because it's the American. They'll have Samuel Adams and something else. So it's a cool thing. And Disney's done a really good job with bringing good beer in to the parks and to the resorts. And they've gotten super knowledgeable about telling you not only what kind of wine would go with food, but what kind of beer would go with food as well. So it's a cool thing. And they'll do that over there at Big River Grill. They'll tell you what beer you should get with your sandwich or your entree or... Yeah, it's a really neat thing, and I'm the kind of guy I'd like to match up my food with the kind of beer that I'm having. So yeah, it's cool. All right, man. So you got to thanks, man. So you got to hit it out of the park here. You got number 5. I know a couple places that are left, or a couple things that are left. So I'm wondering where you're going to go.
Well, this one I picked this one specifically because it's been getting a lot of talk in terms of one aspect of it that I've never experienced. It sounds cool, but I think it unfortunately kind of throws a little. It throws attention away from what I think is probably the main event here. It's Trattoria Al Forno.
I'm glad you picked that one. Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. Yeah, and here's what I was thinking about was. There's been a lot of talk about it in terms of being a character breakfast experience, and the food is supposed to be really good. The character interactions is supposed to be really good with Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. I think there's a couple. I think is it Ariel and Prince Eric too.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's cool, fine and good. But if you're looking for what they do at dinner time, that's really I think where I really want to talk about that for a second, because I've had dinner there before. And I think it's a really really good restaurant. It's a great choice if you're looking for Italian. So in terms of like the menu, I mean, obviously you can look at the menu on Disney's website, but it's very, I think if you take like standard classic dishes that you would expect in terms of Italian comfort food, I think they just elevate the quality and the execution enough to make this a really nice experience for you. In terms of atmosphere is really nice in there. So the food quality is really good there. The one thing that I think is interesting is that you don't hear people talk about this, but they have a really spectacular wine collection there. And you know me, you're the beer guy, I'm the wine guy. I am shocked that more people aren't talking about the wine list at Trattoria Al Forno. You're a beer guy. I mean, they have Moretti La Rosa. I mean, that's one of my favorite beers of all times. So they have Moretti La Rosa, which you can get in a couple other spots at Walt Disney World. But for wine, here's the move, man. If you let's say you score big on a couple scratch off lottery tickets, Gaia, like that's the Italian wine to score. Gaja, Gaia. They have a couple different Gaias there on the list. Like the one is like, the baller, like if you're X to the Z exhibit, you're getting the Barbaresco. I had a friend who had X to the Z money and took a bunch of us out to dinner one night and was just getting bottles of the Barbaresco, passing around. I thought it was knocking my socks off. Fantastic wine. And I just happened to see the bill over my shoulder when he was paying. I was like, whoa, that got out of control fast. It's not cheap wine, but it's really good. So if you're looking for a special occasion spot to hit, if you're somebody who really likes good quality wine, that's a really good one. But let me tell you, like, let's say you don't have X to the Z money. You didn't win a couple of really nice, hot scratch-off lotteries tickets. Here's the move. Let me tell you what my take on wine is right now. What's interesting and what I don't think a lot of people are talking about, but Southern Italian wines, like they have a couple on the list. At least they did when I was there. Nero d'Avola is the grape that I think a lot of people, or the region that a lot of people aren't really talking about a lot. And you can get some really good value Italian wines, some Nero d'Avola, like Southern Italian wines that are really amazing, but aren't priced out of control like Gaia is. And Gaia is priced that way because it's like a superstar, Italian vineyard. But anyway, great food, great desserts, great atmosphere. It's, again, amazing location because you're right there if you're staying at Boardwalk, or if you're not, and you can easily get yourself to there by the friendship boats or walking from Epcot. It's a convenient location, but I think it's one that, again, highly talked about because of the character breakfast, but the dinner is really good, a really good option. If you're looking for a nice Italian dinner, that's going to be a great spot for you to hit.
So I've never eaten there. And I've heard a lot about it. I'm glad you mentioned it because it's one that I wanted to put on my list, but I don't like to fake my way through stuff. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, you should like look at the menu online and be like, you should try this, like, because I don't know it and I've never eaten there. So I've heard a lot about the, like you were saying, the breakfast there. It's like the hot ticket right now. But yeah, man, I'm gonna have to take your word on the wines because half of those words that you were saying there, it just got me so confused. I didn't even know what you were talking about.
Oh man, we see.
You gotta educate me. That's what I gotta do. We gotta do one night when I come down and you and I go out. When I'm like, I'll be down by myself in April, so you and I should go, and it can't be the night before I'm running the half marathon, but maybe a different night.
Or it could be, and that can make the marathon really crazy.
Yeah, I'll be the longest half marathon in history. I'll be stopping every 30 seconds.
So look at that guy. He's sweating like a pig. He hasn't even started running yet.
Wasn't he ready for this? Like, didn't he train? But yeah, you're gonna have to take me to one of these places, and you don't have to take me. Like, I'll get myself there. You don't have to like pick me up on a date. But
yeah, get our separate goobers. And
yeah, but I'd like to know more about that stuff. So that'd be cool if you could kind of show me the wine. I'm in. I want to check it out.
Yeah, man, and that's a really cool spot. So for folks who are big into wine, they have a really impressive kind of setup when you walk in to the restaurant where everything's kind of displayed for their wine. Like like California Grill, when you come off the elevator, they have everything kind of displayed right there as you walk up the elevator. Like, it's kind of like that kind of impressive setup, the way they've displayed their collection there. And it's a really good variety of stuff that they have, but definitely a lot of Italian wines the saying is that what grows together goes together. So if you're eating Italian food, it makes a lot of sense to drink Italian wine. It could be psychology, whatever, marketing, but it makes sense to me. So it's definitely a good spot to hit. Nice.
I thought it was Bros, but no, I'm kidding. That
was close.
Anyway, this is a G2 PG rated show, so I can't make that joke, but I think people know what I was talking about. So all right, so for my last one, I think I'm going to throw everyone off because I think everyone who knows me thinks I'm going to one spot here, and I'm going to a different one. because I mentioned earlier in the episode, in the show, that I'm not a big sweets guy, right? But I live in a house full of 3 children and a chocolate junkie of a wife. My Amy she rarely will eat chocolate and rarely eat sweets, but she loves it. And she'll, on vacation, she'll let herself. So I'm talking about the Boardwalk Bakery. Now, this place, they expanded it. What was that? Like a couple of years ago, right? 3-4 years ago, they made it a little bit bigger.
Maybe not even. I mean, it hasn't been that long, but yeah, it is a recent renovation.
Yeah. So they have, if you want to get, and they even have like sandwiches. They do like breakfast sandwiches. I think they have like a bounty platter in the morning there. They have, I'm always in and out with my Mickey cup for my coffee, like every morning when we stay there. But they have healthy things they have a big selection of fruit, and they have, and in the afternoon you can come and get like a deli sandwich, like a roast beef sandwich, something like that. So you can actually get real sandwiches, real food there. But what they're known for, and what most people go for, are like the pastries and the cupcakes, and the stuff they have there is outrageously good. Like they have like these cupcakes all year where they have like the Mickey cupcake and like the strawberry shortcake cupcake, and then they have things like cannolis and brownies and tarts. They have this really cool looking fruit tart, Napoleon's, carrot cakes. But there's Mickey tart. It's like a Mickey or a Minnie. It's like Mickey or Minnie head, and I think it's like a chocolate brownie kind of thing. But then they have these seasonal cupcakes, and every season they'll have one. I think over this last summer, they had like I think it was when Beauty and the Beast was out. I think that's what it was. They had like the red rose cupcake, and it was like a cream filled, like, I don't know, raspberry flavored, raspberry icing kind of cupcake. They have just every season they'll change it and they'll put a new kind of crazy gourmet cupcake in there. And my kids flip out for that stuff. Like when we go, they'll get, we don't let them have that stuff every day, but they're on vacation too. So we'll get them, and they don't even eat them, right? They'll have like 4 bites of it, and they're like, I'm done. And we spent like $25 on 3 cupcakes. But they love it, and it's fun. And so, yeah, and then a couple trips ago, they have this cake. It's a peanut butter banana cake, right? So it's like a peanut butter, it's chocolate kind of brown, like they call it a cake though. That's topped with, it's a peanut butter chocolate cake topped with this banana frosting, a chocolate square, and candied bacon. It's like an Elvis, dude. It is awesome. It is, and I don't eat sweets, but I love peanut butter. I love banana, and who doesn't love bacon? So I think it was after a race, Amy and the kids went down to the bakery and brought this up for me. Like, I get out of like my ice bath after the race, and I came into like the living room area, and there was my banana chocolate brownie with bacon on it. It was just phenomenal. So yeah, man, if you have a sweet tooth, sweet lover in your family, the Boardwalk Bakery, you're gonna be there like every day when you stay at Boardwalk. It's a really, really cool, really unique place because they don't have lots of aren't a whole lot of bakeries in Walt Disney World. So it's a unique place there, and I think if you stay there, you'll love it. You really will.
And then bananas probably were good for you after the race, for getting the muscles and all that potassium. Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure it's real banana.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's good stuff,
dude. It's like neon yellow.
I would love to have the chance to stay in one of the rooms that's right over top of the bake. Can you imagine waking up to the smell of like all the fresh baked goods?
Oh, dude, open. They all have like the little decks, little terraces. Open your sliding glass door and just kind of hang out there. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Either that or we get a room over the Big River Grill. I can smell the beer brewing. Either one would be fine with me.
And get a contact buzz off of that.
I don't think actually the smell of beer brewing is good. I don't think it's a good smell. We both know someone who brews beer. We'll have to ask her. She knows.
Yeah.
I
See, that wart doesn't smell good. Yeah,
no,
I'm sure.
no, it's called wart. How could it smell good? I can't
Yes.
imagine.
Yes. Makes sense.
Yeah, right. I don't know. That's a bad joke, but anyway, man, this is a fun list. This was a good episode. I'm just gonna say it right now to the listener. I thought that was good. It was fun. We laughed. I think it was very educational. If you haven't stayed at Boardwalk, and we didn't even. I mean, I'm looking at my list now. There were so many things we didn't mention. Like we kind of touched on Ample Hills Creamery. We didn't talk about jelly rolls. I didn't talk about the ESPN club. There's Atlantic Dance. There's just more stuff that we didn't even get to.
And there was the one thing that I'm surprised you didn't, but I think I know why you didn't mention it. And you know what I'm talking about, right? Your spot.
What's that?
ESPN.
Yeah, I know. I just mentioned it a second ago.
Well, but I mean, like, is it because of the burger?
It has something to do. Yeah, I am still very much upset about that burger not being there. But no, I think I left it off the list because I've talked about it a bunch on the show, and I know people. I think people expected that from me, so I like other stuff, and that's kind of what I was going with. Plus, I was looking at just not stuff that I like to do, but what families and what like kids would like to do, and I think I was either going to close it out with ESPN or the bakery, and I went with the bakery.
Okay, man. You're mixing it up. I like it.
You know, I don't want to be predictable. I don't want to be the most predictable podcaster out there.
But I think the message should be loud and clear. ESPN, if you're listening, shout out to ESPN. But it didn't make the list because you yanked the peanut butter and jelly burger.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing. That's why I went. That is why I went. And the foods, listen, the food there is good. The sports trivia is awesome. I love going in there at night, having a couple beers, watching whatever game is on, and they do sports trivia. And I always get them right. I've won so many pins and hats and stuff. I'm kind of a sports trivia like nerd. But yeah, you took my burger away, and I'm upset about it. So yeah. So ESPN, I know you're not. They're not Disney cast members in there, right? They're run by, I think that's a third party that runs that restaurant. But anyway, I'm not talking badly about it. I'm just saying, bring the burger back.
No, but you're throwing some shade, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
If you read Urban Dictionary every morning, you would.
Yeah, I see it on Twitter. I'm like, throws shade. What is that? I don't know.
Yeah, man. Keeping it 100.
I'm too square. I don't know what that means either. I'm too square to know this stuff. Anyway, man, thanks again for recording. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and man, shit.
And yeah, I know you like to touch on, you got all kinds of noble causes you like to mention at the end of these episodes. So I want to make sure you have a couple moments to kind of mention whenever you want to talk about.
Oh, do you have a couple seconds?
Yeah, we have a couple. Yeah.
Is there a little tape left on the recorder?
Yeah, tape. Yeah, we're good.
I appreciate it, man.
We're not the end of the white tape, you remember, or the clear tape. Remember that? When we get to the clear tape and you only like a second.
Yeah, man, that was a good time, reel to reel, and oh man, no, honestly, I appreciate it. I mean, it's all fun and games, and we have a good time. But I had some friends, a new buddy I made, Kimasabi Carl. He works at this little nonprofit down here in Orlando. It's called the National Moped Association, 501c3. Really, really great organization, safety focused. I can't say enough good things about these people. I mean, really doing some amazing work. So tax donations, if you're looking for places to donate, yeah, it's tax deductible 501c3 organization. They have these things. If you subscribe to their list on their website, nationalmoped.org is the website. They have this thing called ALEC notices, Act Like You Know, Chico. With the ALEC notice that they just put out, I'm not exaggerating, literally about 30 minutes before we started recording, there's this new sting operation by the Environmental Protection Agency with the mopeds. This is like no joke. These are felonies, big time federal crimes that are going on right now. What's going on was, a popular option for the moped is the 49cc motor. That's the little hog. The big hog is the 50cc motor. But the little hog 49cc, you don't need a special operating license for that. So you can just, any old Tom, Dick, or Harry can ride one of those things. No special license required. But here's what's going on, man. And this, I was appalled when I read this. Like literally, my stomach got sick when I was reading this. You know what's going on, man? There's some moped mechanics out there. They're taking those 49cc little hogs. They're boring them. They're stroking them. It's basically outlaw grade performance. And they're putting high lift camshafts in there with these huge lopes. I mean, it sounds like a popcorn machine. It's like blah, 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 at the stoplight. I mean, it's just insane compression in these motors. I mean, they're not street legal. I mean, these people, I mean, excuse my language, everyone earmuff it. They're the skid marks on the underoos of this moped community. I mean, let me just call it as it is. This is just insane. I'm sickened by this, but I want to get the word out. I'm helping these guys because what's going on? These mopeds, not only are not safe, they're not environmentally sound anymore because of all the toxin and carcinogens and CO2 and CO1 that's shooting out of these things now. They're not street legal, but you know what? They're also, this is the biggest thing. They're voiding the powertrain warranty on these mopeds. Like, what are people going to do when the things break down? They're not going to be able to take them into the shop and get them fixed. So, I appreciate. I'm sorry, man. I'm passionate about safety. That's why I like these guys. They do great work. Sorry to get all revved up. You see what I did there? I said revved up. See that? Yeah, thanks for the time.
Though. No, you did. You were getting very passionate.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I gotta take it down. I got my red Solo cup full of Everclear waiting for me over in the kitchen. So as soon as I'm done here in the podcast booth, I'm gonna go over there and try to take it down a notch.
Well, I appreciate you not, imbibing. Is that the right word? Imbibing. I think that's right.
Oh, well, let me check on our dictionary. Hold on a second. Stand by.
During the recording, that Everclear can get you pretty fast. I've heard.
Oh yeah, man, it'll mess you up.
But all right, man. Well, I appreciate it. I'm sure the people over at the what is it? National NM.
National Moped Association. Yeah, so moped.org.
Yeah, so they're moped.org. All right, man. Well, thanks again. I'm sure they appreciate it, and I certainly appreciate. See what I did there? Look at that smooth transition. You coming back on the show and. It was a lot of fun, and the resort roundups are always a lot of fun. I think they're very educational, and I hope people listening. Not only I know that we're a couple of dopes and we laugh, but I think there's a lot of really good kind of information mixed in there throughout, in between the jokes. So I hope people get a lot out of it.
Right on, man. Brisket for life.
Thanks again, man. And that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ear to There Disney Podcast. Thank you once again to my friend, to my co-host, to my brother from another mother, the hilarious Johnny Shortsleeve. Like I said at the end of the episode, these are a lot of fun to do, but I also hope they're helpful, and I hope you listen and maybe you learn a little something about the resort, or maybe it convinces you to maybe not stay at the resort, but to pay to visit on one of your non-park days or your non-park nights on your next Disney World vacation. At least that's kind of the goal. So thank you again to Johnny for joining me. It was a lot of fun. And thank you again to Bob Gurr for answering another question earlier in the show. And I don't have to go into it again, but it's just an amazing thing to have Bob on each and every week. And last but not least, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thank you for listening to any episode. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I really hope you enjoy every episode that we do. They're a lot of fun. I love doing this. I love hearing from you too. So if you enjoyed the show, if you like the podcasts, do me a favor, let me know. Send me an email. Call the voice line at 267-551-1971. Or like I said, email me at phil@eartotheretravel.com. Let me know what you like about the show. You can even let me know what you don't like about the show. I promise I will read or listen to both negative criticism and positive criticism. I think they're both constructive, right? Either way. Anyway, just let me know about it. I want to hear from you. Just remember, there will be a new episode of the Ear to There Disney podcast each and every Monday morning, as well as a new episode of It's a Food World. Again, that's with Johnny Shortsleeve, and they will be each and every Wednesday morning. So until next time, thank you again so much for listening. You have yourself just the best week ever. Bye-bye.